Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about a subject that makes me really proud to share with all of you. It makes me really proud because I put a lot of investigation on this subject, and not just that, I ran my own study where more than 100 people were willing to share with me personal information so we can get to the root cause of what emotionally causes trypophobia. Yep, trypophobia, that's what we're going to talk about today. And for those who may not know what trypophobia is, although if you are here, I'm sure it's because you saw the title Trypophobia. For those who not know what trypophobia is the phobia, the dislike, the disgust of seeing many the repetition of many geometrical figures, such as circles inside circles, triangles, etc. When they're all together, that causes a trigger for these people. For example, if you see a B panel could be a big trigger for some people, not for everybody, but yes, for some of them. I came across the trypophobia a couple years ago when I saw on one of those viral photos that were on social media where you saw a hand full of little holes or a feet or a face. Well, that's when I came across. Luckily enough for me, I don't have trypophobia, so those photos did not trigger me. But it did trigger my curiosity, because I thought, well, why it didn't cause me anything, but it does causes some people. So that's when my curiosity started with this subject. Not until last year, where a big company, Gucci, made a big marketing campaign where one of the main photos on that campaign was the lotus flower. Not the flower as such, the seed of this flower. And for those who may not know, the seed of the lotus flower looks like a big circle with many circles inside and many circles inside. So when I saw that photo, I remember thinking, wow, this is gonna trigger a lot of people with trypophobia. And yeah, that's what I saw. Went to the comments, and if not everybody, most of the people in that campaign, in that publication, were saying, yep, we have trypophobia and this is a big trigger, you should take it down. And that's where curiosity really went on me, and I thought, no, let's get to this. Let's get to the root cause of trypophobia. So that's when I decided to post it on one of a big group that I'm part of it. If somebody had trypophobia and they would like to be part of my study. Of course, I already I already had a big idea of where this was coming from, but I just wanted to make sure that this was completely accurate. To my surprise, on that publication, I got a lot of messages, loads of them, more than hundreds. And I got so many that took me so many days to respond to everybody. But anyways, that was the big surprise. The second surprise was the 99.9% of the people that wanted to be part of this were women, which this was already reassuring my thoughts behind what trypophobia could be. And only 2 men replied to me and say, yep, I also have trypophobia. While I was running this study, I realized that this man also had the same problems, let's say, the same symptoms of these women. So what trypophobia is, I came to the conclusion that it's the repetition of that embryonic stage that didn't finish. I was so afraid to make this video because it has a lot of words in English that are so harsh for me to pronounce, but hey ho. So let's get back because I don't want to edit this. So trypophobia emotionally comes from these memories of repetition of that embryonic stage that didn't finish, that didn't went to fetus stage, a baby stage. That embryonic stage that lasts for 8 weeks, that's what we're talking about. If any of you here have trypophobia, if you try to look a video of the embryonic stage of the humans, you will see that is all trypophobia trigger there. Because what happens is the people that when I run my study, I realized that everybody, no exception, had a story with the unborn. People that had abortions, people that had miscarriages, and that's when trypophobia started. But also it was a repetition because we repeat. And these people also had a mother, they also maybe had miscarriages, they also had abortions. When that embryonic stage had to finish for any reasons. So that is where trypophobia comes. From that unconscious memory of that stage, they had to finish for any reason. I had many cases, and many cases that really touched me deeply because what people were sharing was really deep emotions with me. One really got to me because these ladies said, well, actually, I have trypophobia, and yes, I did had 2 abortions, and yes, the trypophobia started after those abortions. And that child that actually born after those 2 abortions, she also had trypophobia. But her mother also had an abortion before. So that's where trypophobia comes from that memory of the repetition of that embryonic stage that was not finished, that didn't go to where the next stage was. And when we go to a stage in our life, with a situation in our lives where we have a shock, like a miscarriage could cause, an abortion could cause a lot of guilt also, that is the memory that we have. So when we see those images, it reminds us about that embryonic stage that didn't finish. That lotus flower is that. If you see embryonic stage, just Google it. And I hope I'm still spelling it, pronouncing it right. If not, I'm sorry. But that's what it is. If you see the embryonic stage, you will see that is trypophobia trigger. And that's what it causes, the trypophobia. The good news about this is that after I work with all these people and I give them tools and we work really on their lives, we actually get to an amazing realization that after all of this, these people with only 1 session, they actually cure trypophobia. And I have many messages to prove it. In my Facebook page, you can even see people that have actually reviewed it and say, hey, I don't have it anymore, because we went to work on all of that. And all of those embryonic stages that didn't ended well, that didn't finish, they didn't went to where they should have been, a baby. Instead, we had the unborn. So for all of you with trypophobia, I will suggest you that you invest in yourself. It's in one session, in a couple hours, we are done with this subject, and you will be able to see these images with no problem. I promise you that. Anyways, I hope this was clear for you. Take care, everybody. Until next time.